G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. We are here on the brand new expansion for Age of Empires 4, the Sultan's Ascend. Today we are on Dry Arabia with the brand new biome for the map. Well, in fact it's for most maps and you can see it is absolutely beautiful. A lovely biome. It's called Savannah. Anyway, we've got two of the world's best players here with us today. On the south side of the map, playing as the Japanese in the color red. It's Valdemar the Kid. 1902, I think, was the numbers that go after his name. Anyway, that's him down here on the south side, and on the north side of the map, in the color teal, playing as the Byzantines, we've got Crackety here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome. I tell you what, I'm so excited to be able to bring this game to you. I would say live, but it's not live. It's a casted game, which means that normally we don't really do them live, but we've got two new civilizations. We've got a lot of new mechanics to talk about, so look, if you're familiar with these mechanics, some of it might seem a bit repetitive. If you're not familiar, well, I'll do my best to explain it to you exactly how it works. So starting off, let's take a look at the Japanese base right on board with Valdemar and have a look at things that are different. So you will notice that Valdemar has already built his blacksmith. Look at that. It's called a forge. It's a unique building to the Japanese, and it is a mining camp that also has access to your blacksmith upgrades. And you'll also see that when the Japanese are dropping off gold at their forges, they're also going to be receiving a little bit of stone. So the way that it works is for every 10 gold you drop off, you receive 2 stone. And of course, vice versa. When you drop off 10 stone, you receive 2 gold. So it's a nice little bonus that you get throughout the game, and it really starts to add up, especially towards the mid-game. On top of that, they've also got access to a unique technology in their forge called Tatara, which is available in the Dark Age, which means that they've technically got a 4th level of upgrades that they can get for melee units. And it might not seem like a lot, but you got to remember, when your melee units are doing, say, 6 or 7 damage, plus 1, that's a lot of percentages we're talking about. That's like 12, 13, 14%. It's some damn good numbers. So the Japanese, the Dark Age, I'm expecting big things from them. But we do start to see the first of the landmarks coming down, and it's going to be the Kura Storehouse, which is the economic-focused landmark here for the Japanese. This is going to pop down a whole bunch of farms, a ring of farms around this landmark. It will gradually build up. It will start off and there'll only be the 1 farm, and then it will be 2, and then 3, and then it will keep going all the way up until the whole thing is filled in. And when it's finally filled in, you're going to get a nice little trickle of gold. But let's take a look on the other side of the map, because Crackety here is playing the Byzantines, another new civilization here in the Sultan's Ascend expansion pack, which, by the way, if you haven't already purchased it, not a problem at all. I'll leave a link in the description where you can purchase it on Steam right now, because I tell you what, it's so much fun. I'm enjoying myself. I'm having such a blast playing it. So let's talk about the unique mechanics here for the Byzantines. So starting off, we've got a cistern. You can see some of the water in there and a big 1 above it. That means that the water level is water level 1. There's a maximum of 5 levels, and as you go up through those levels, it's going to increase the bonuses that you've got access to. So the first bonus that you're going to see is this large gold circle around the cistern. And this is going to be an area of effect bonus for your villagers, which will increase the gather rate for them. So if we click on one of these villages, hold on, that's a sheep. Here we go. You can see that there we go, irrigated. Villagers gathering rate increased by 5% by a nearby cistern. So that's the first thing that you have to worry about, at least for the moment. But we do also see that next landmark coming up for him. It looks like he's going to be going for the Grand Winery. So the Grand Winery allows you to really utilize the unique resource that is available to the Byzantines. And you'll see that on the UI over here, and that's olive oil. Olive oil, a brand new resource for Age of Empires 4, but exclusive to the Byzantines in this expansion pack. And the way that it works is very simple. When you are collecting food throughout the game, there are certain types of food that will give you back olive oil. For the Grand Winery, that's going to increase the amount of olive oil you get nearby. So that means if you build farms around this, you're going to be getting more olive oil than what you would if you hadn't built the Grand Winery. So it's a landmark that is quite strong in the early game, but also scales through to the mid-game. And another thing to note, it acts as a monastery. You can build monks with it, you can store relics in it, so a nice, cool little thing that you can use. We start to see the mercenary house going to be coming down here for Crackety here, and we can hear the first whistle of the game, as it looks like Crackety is going to be spotting out Valdemar's base and seeing exactly what he's up to. As we already begin to see Valdemar working on those rice paddies. Of course, the Japanese, like the Chinese, share the rice paddies. It's technically a different farm. And the reason why is because it grows back faster, but each of the little slots, I don't know how you'd call it, little grids within the farm, have got less in them. Let's have a look at this. Valdemar's already making his way out onto the map. A couple of barracks units going to be out here. We've got the Honor Bugeshi. Oh, this is going to be hard to pronounce. We're going to just start with the Honor for now. And immediately those villages under pressure. The Honor Bugeisha. Bugeisha? I think we're just going to go with Bugeisha. That seems about right? Like, I know what a geisha is. I know what an honor is, so Honor Bugeisha. That's cool. Kind of rolls off the tongue as well. And look how fast these guys are. I tell you what. So a bit of an interesting unit. Nothing really like it in Age of Empires 4 at the moment. So you can see that it's just got 6 attack flat, but they have a very fast attack speed. So when these guys get going, they really start letting loose. And you can see right here in the middle. Look at them go. Oh my god, isn't it beautiful? It's wonderful just getting to watch that scout smacked in the face with the with the long... What weapon have we got? We've got the Naginata. So another villager out here, going to get caught. And I love the look. Take a look at the hat that the scout's wearing. Very traditional, really cool. Loving it. Villager might be going down here. It's got to be careful. And it manages to keep it alive. 5 health on that bad boy. And does indeed. That one's going to be heading underneath the town center, probably over onto a couple of sheep. And let's ride on board with Crackety just a little bit longer, because we do have the mercenary house through, and it looks like he's chosen one of the 3 options that you've got for your mercenaries. And it looks like he's gone into, I don't know exactly which one this is, but you've got essentially these 3 units are now available to you throughout the game, depending on which age you're in and which upgrade you've got for the mercenaries. We do have, once again, was it the Honor Bugeisha? I think it's called the Honor Bugeisha, trying to find a villager kill. Not going to be able to find it there. Town center firing off. I think he did pick up, indeed he did pick up a kill there. But for the rest of the game, he's going to be able to access the Keshik. And you can see that it costs 400 olive oil. The Gulam, which is 450 olive oil. And the Tower Elephant, which is 1,000 olive oil. And it's important to note that you get 2 Keshiks, 3 Gulams, and a single Tower Elephant. That's not the only way that you can spend olive oil, though. We'll say that. And, well, we'll leave that for a little bit later in the game, if we get to that stage. Looks like our second cistern is coming up, and we're now able to connect the dots. The second cistern coming up is going to extend out that... Oh, villager. Oh, villager. Oh, he might get caught out of here. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like he's going to be able to find it. So, not only is... If we see this cistern, it's got an AoE around it, which is going to be buffing up the villagers within this radius. Obviously, doesn't hit the villagers that are out here, but this one will hit this hunt. It'll also hit, I guess, the beginnings of the gold. And then once you connect these 2 with the aqueduct, what that's going to do, it's going to increase the water level from 1 to 2. And it means that these villagers, instead of having a 5% bonus, have now got a 10% bonus. You can go up to a maximum of 5 cisterns, or level 5, which gives you a 25% bonus for those villagers. Now with Crackety beginning to push down towards the south side, he's just picked up an interesting upgrade called Expilatores. And this upgrade is going to allow his horsemen to do slightly more damage against workers, which means that they're able to 5-shot them. And it also means that if they kill a worker, that they are going to be getting 20 gold, just like the Mongols would when they kill a building. It's the exact same thing, except for when they kill workers. So this is, if you're a big raider, if you love to raid, you're going to love the Byzantines. You're going to love this upgrade, a really cool upgrade. But on the south side of the map, we're right on board with Valdemar as he begins working towards the castle age. It's going to be the floating gate that he opts to go with, a landmark that has been... I will say it is a landmark that's gone through some changes, and I love where it is at the moment. I think the power level for this landmark is absolutely absurd if the game goes long. Let's talk about it. So the way that the floating gate works is it spawns what are called Yoroshiros. And the Yoroshiro is, think of it kind of like a relic. And what that does, though, is... So you pick up the Yoroshiro and you can put it in a building the same way that you could a relic. It's carried through your priests. As we've got ourselves a nice little engagement down here. It looks like the horsemen should be able to clean this up. A couple of spearmen going to be coming in and trying to deal with this. And should be able to force it back. Not a good fight, spearmen up against horsemen. So it's going to have to fall back. But with the Yoroshiro, there's different bonuses depending on what you want. As an example, I can take my Yoroshiro and I can put that in my town center. And if I do that, and you'll see right here, it somewhat looks a little bit like a relic, I guess you could kind of say. You can see, yeah, anyway. And so what you can do is you can put these in your buildings and you can get different bonuses. So for me, personally, my favorite is putting it in the forge because it is extra gold that you're going to be generating. But it looks like he's going to be putting the Yoroshiro in the barracks, which is going to improve the production speed of this building by 200%. 200%. That is ludicrous. That means that you go from a spearman taking 15 seconds to a spearman taking 5 seconds. This just became the equivalent of 3 barracks, and he went and put the Yorishiro in the other barracks as well. So now he's gone from 2 barracks equivalent to 6 barracks equivalent in just the space of the age up. Really nice timing here from Voldemar as well. So for anybody wondering what the Yorishiros can do in addition to buffing up military production buildings, well, let's take a look here. I'm going to see if we can find it. Oh, can we find it? Maybe it is here. Yeah, here we go. We'll watch over on this side, but I'll show you this. We'll focus on this. So if you put it in a town center, it increases the production speed by 25%. If you put it in a farmhouse, that is your, which we haven't even talked about yet, that is your unique house, which doubles as a mill. It will give you 75 food, lumber camp, 75 wood per minute, forge, 75 gold per minute, and a dock or a military building. We've seen that 200% work rate. And then, of course, finally, the Wonder, which increases the health by 4,000. That's quite a bit, and it does stack with Court Architects. For anybody who's wondering, I've already gone in and tested it. I said, I need to see this. It just, is it really that much? And oh yeah, it really is that much. So we've got that push coming out, and a wonderful Japanese timing coming through here. At the same time, on the other side of the map, it looks like we're going to have the Golden Horn Tower coming down here for Crackety, and you can see that he's placing it within the influence of his system. And this is going to actually buff up the value of the units that are produced here. It means that he's going to get slightly better production out. Archers, though, trying to work down the Samurai, not having a whole lot of luck. 5 damage up against the Samurai with 6 ranged armor. Good luck taking these guys out, not to mention the deflective armor that they've got, which also just deflects anything back, or doesn't, I was going to say deflects it back towards the enemy. It doesn't really, it just cancels out the attack. And it's only a single attack, but it does regen, which is very cool. Now, it looks like down towards the south, we've got some Keshiks coming out. A single veteran Samurai, joined by his compatriot. 3rd one now coming out. 4th one also coming out. The numbers are starting to get thick and thin. And I tell you what, Voldemar, he's in with a beautiful fast castle strategy here, looking to put the pressure on towards Crackety. Crackety going to try his best to defend. We can see that he does have access to more Keshiks if he so chooses. He could also be looking for a castle age upgrade. Maybe look for ghoul arms here. But the new age has now begun for him. We're right on board as he looks to try and defend this position. He's having a bit of a tough time. May need to move into crossbows, and we can see it's going to be crossbows together with Varangian Guards, the brand new unit available to the Byzantines. It's a bit of an interesting one. It's kind of like a men-at-arms, a little bit more gold heavy though, and has the ability to throw its shield down and wield a secondary weapon, meaning that you lose a lot of your armor, but you gain a whole bunch of attack. So it kind of reminds me a little bit of the Vikings, I guess is where I would imagine that sort of thing. And we can see him beginning to make his way out. The first one, he's got his shield out for the moment, but keep in mind he could look to berserk at any time here. But not going to be able to make the connection. A lot of Samurai out on this field already. Now keep in mind the word Samurai, you're going to hear it quite a bit. I know for me at first it was a little bit confusing because you have Samurai and you have Katana Samurai. You have Katana Bannerman, which I think are also Samurai. And then you have Mounted Samurai. There's a lot of Samurai in here, so it's important that I emphasize to you that there's going to be a lot of that going on. But it looks like we've got our next Yorishiro that's just come in. So I'm curious to see exactly where Voldemar looks to put this down. As I said, I'm a big fan of throwing them down on the forge just to get that extra gold a minute. It's basically a relic at this point in the game, and the best part is that with these, and you can see them actually displaying as relics on the minimap, but my favorite thing about this is that it's infinite. It scales infinitely, which means that if you play into this game 10 minutes through the game, 40 minutes through the game, and you've got 10 Yorishiros, that's 750 passive gold that you've got coming in. It just keeps scaling the longer the game goes. And I think that's really a cool thing, because not a lot of civs have got that kind of infinite scaling bonus that the Japanese have got. But now, we begin to see that mass building up. 15 Samurai at the moment. More units coming down towards the south. It looks like the Cataphracts have finally made it out onto the field. The best cavalry unit in the game. They charge straight through into the back line, but unfortunately been skewered by a couple of spears. Big numbers here. Looks like the Samurai are going to be going up against their opponents on this front line, trying to slice and dice their way through. They've still got that deflective armor. Decent micro coming in from these players as well. And you can see how strong those damn Samurai are. Look at them, chasing away the cavalry. All of these units are looking to try and take them out, but unfortunately the numbers are just so damn strong. But it looks like at the end of the day, he'll be forced to retreat. Keep in mind that the samurai is a heavy melee unit, so it is countered by crossbows. It's just that it does have that deflective armor. It does have that extra little bit of ranged armor as well. Now, I can't confirm this, but I will say anecdotally from what I've seen, if you have... So the way that deflective armor works is... Let me see if we can find it. Deflective armor. It charges... Oh, sorry. Deflective armor charge can block one melee or ranged attack. Recharges while out of combat for 8 seconds. So if it gets hit with one bow, that's it. The deflective armor goes down, and then in 8 seconds, it will come back up. I think it's out of combat. Yeah, while out of combat for 8 seconds. However, if you hit a single unit with 10 bows or 10 arrows at the same time, I believe all of them get eaten by the charge. I'm not 100% sure on that. I think it might be, there might be a little bit of intricacy there, but I have seen a unit that appeared to just take a whole bunch of shots to the face and just seemed to ignore it. It was pretty cool. Here's another interaction that we see between the wall and the aqueduct. Really, really cool. Doesn't affect your ability to wall the aqueduct. You can just wall straight underneath it. And speaking of walling, you're actually able to get more effective walls in now. So for any Age of Empire 2 players out there, you guys are going to be loving the new walling mechanics. It makes it a little bit easier to wall your bases. And you can actually put all of your houses towards the front and then just put a little pillar in between them. And that's an effective wall now. So that's another cool mechanic change that we've seen. But the Mangonel out on the field here for Voldemar. Going to be looking to try and push towards that enemy base. We'll check in with the backline, see how he's doing. You can see the Kura storehouse here. 68 wood a minute. So even though all of the farms have been added in, you're still getting that bonus throughout the game of choosing that landmark. You don't lose that ability to have that. And wonderful job as well picking up all of these relics. He's up to 4 relics now up against Crackety. Now keep in mind, at this point in the game, things are pretty even. Villager counts, rock solid. 55 versus 54. In fact, 56 apiece. But slowly and steadily, Voldemar is pulling ahead. He's got the Yorishiro. He's got the relics. And those are big factors here, but we do start to see Kashyyyks now on the south side of the map, looking to try and find their way through. Looks like the Shinto priest might get taken out, manages to keep it alive. Kashyyyks going to continue running through. Have they got their veterancy? They do have their veterancy now. So he's going to be able to access the Gulam if he so chooses. You can have a look and see the mercenary house at the moment. For some reason, oh, you know why? It's probably because we weren't selecting Crackety. There we go. We've got his perspective. And now down on that south side, it looks like he's going to be able to break through. Villagers immediately running away, realizing that, hey, we're under threat here. We're under siege. Steven Seagal is in the building. Actually, Steven Seagal's the savior in that movie. So I wouldn't say that Steven Seagal is in the movie. Like, maybe that, you know what? Voldemar needs to call Steven Seagal because he's under siege. Oh, I didn't even realize the Kura storehouse can store villagers inside. Totally forgot about that. That's cool. So you don't even have to look at... How cool is that? Is that not so cool? And now they can just get straight back to work. They don't even have to run to the TC. I completely forgot about that mechanic until I just witnessed it there with you guys. Poggers in the chat, for sure. Let's check in with that north side. Oh, now we get to see one of the most beautiful bases. I'm sorry, I gotta get a picture of this right here. We're talking about the best, most beautiful Byzantine base there is in the business. How many bees do you want? And Drongo says, I'll take every single one of them. That is just... Isn't that just a masterpiece of a base right there? I'm loving it. Hey, Drongo, DMCA. I'm pretty sure that's DMCA-able. All right, well, it doesn't look like we missed too much action, he says, as 43 units have gone down. It looks like a couple of cataphracts were caught, the rewalls coming in, and for the most part, Crackety wasn't able to do too much damage. So how does Crackety get back into this game? I'll be honest with you, I got no idea, because this... I'm not familiar with these civilizations at the same level that I am with all the other civilizations. So for me, this is going to be a learning experience the same way it is going to be for you guys as well. So instead of commenting on what we might see, I'm just going to comment on what we do see and what I'd like to see. Will we see some Imperial Ages? I'd love to see some Imperial Ages coming through. The Byzantines have, for anybody who doesn't know, the most powerful cavalry in the game. I actually went through and tested all of the new cavalry, because there's a whole bunch of new cavalry that comes out with all of these civilizations. As an example, the Juicy Legacy has really strong cavalry that is optional. You can choose to take it or not. And the Byzantines are a civilization that gets access to the cataphract, which is notorious for its strength as a cavalry unit, and I promise you, it does not disappoint. It's ludicrous how strong that bad boy is, and you can get so many buffs on top of him. But it looks like a couple of Gulams going to be thrown away here by Crackety. He's going to try and defend. Keep in mind, at this point, military advantage is heavily in favor of Valdemar. Have a look at the army value difference as well. 3k the difference at the moment, and that's quite significant at this point, considering it's 8k versus 5k. So Crackety's going to have to pull out some micro moves if he wants to make it work. Villagers going to be running for their lives. I just realized that both of these players do have farming landmarks, but we'll worry about that later as the Springalds fire off towards the back line. Mangonel is up, big shots coming through. Crackety doing his best to try and stay alive, but Valdemar is looking to take names in this game. Decent mass of samurai on the front, just holding it out for the moment. At the same time, it looks like we've got a siege coming out over here. Crossbows, archers, making their way towards the back, but there's no Springalds here to take out the Mangonel. He's found a way through. Take a look at this. The Gulams do get taken out before he's able to, and all sacred sites have now been taken, and we get that beautiful message on our screen. Lovely. Neutralize the sacred site. And I got a feeling right now that Crackety might be in trouble. Enemy units inside his base. He's going to start losing villagers as the Mangonel shot hits the house. Oh my god, it actually hit the aqueduct. Next level aqueduct mechanics, and now the water comes out. He says, hey, don't rain on this parade. Springle takes it out in time. Did you see that? The Springle shot came in from downtown. I didn't even see where the Springle is. I think he just got vanquished, unfortunately for that Springle, but you can hear the water. And now we've got a house on fire underneath. No, wait, it's torches. You'd think that if there was a house on fire underneath that it would get repaired. You know what? That should 100% be a mechanic. I don't know whether it is. Banner now down on the ground, something we haven't talked much about. This game is the Bannerman, the Katana Bannerman, but does drop that buff when it comes through. Springalds numbers still looking good. And oh my god, look at the dead farms. Look how cool they look here for the Byzantines. I love this civilization design. Just the aesthetics of this civ is so beautiful. Just getting to witness this is wonderful. And now, it looks like Crackety has been somehow able to hold. Impressive defense from Crackety, and oh, there's a bit of a siege diff right now. Oh, the Mangonel, bit of a siege diff. Do we see Crackety just move into, I'd love to see him just move into cavalry here. It's gonna be so hard though, up against look at the amount of samurai that are out on the field at the moment for his opponent. It's really tough to deal with that amount of samurai, because these guys are just so damn effective. That's the thing to remember, is they've got their 15 damage, and then they've got the 4 damage against infantry, so you can't run like a spear crossbow combo, because you're just going to get absolutely annihilated on your front line. Not to mention your back line will just get destroyed by the Mango, but looks like he's going to try and find something. We do have the Varangian guards here. Varangian guards, am I pronouncing that correctly? I'm not, because they're Gulams. I'm sure there's a Varangian guard in here. There we go. And he's got it out. He's thrown the berserking in. They've got that little red glow. Hits the first Mango. Second one's rolling in. Should be able to clean it up. He's going to have a tough time against these Springalds. You got to respect these Springalds. They do some pretty insane damage. And this is difficult to deal with. And now the Samurai going to be able to clean up that backside. I tell you what, if there's one message we can take away from this game, it is that the Japanese Samurai, you better be fearing them right now. They are insane. And good game gets called. That is going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. Go check out these two creators. I'll leave links in the description to where you can watch them live over on Twitch. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like. And if you haven't already, make sure you check out the Sultan's Ascent expansion. It is coming November 14th. Be there or be square.